So happy Friday, everybody. We are excited to show off this week's P3 Strategy Series. This week's topic, catalyzing projects, GO-Biz funding tools for P3 success. So what does that mean? Every other Friday, we host a public or private leader to talk about how public and private sectors can come together to benefit the community. And this week, we are so fortunate to have Brian Coleman from GO-Biz be our keynote speaker for the day. Before I bring Brian up to the stage, I want to say a few words of housekeeping. So if you don't already know, the P3 Strategy Series is hosted by Sunstone Cities. Sunstone Cities is headquartered here in Irvine, California. And what does it do? Sunstone Cities is an economic development consulting firm that really helps to boost the community. We are always focused on enriching lives. So if you are a project developer, if you are affiliated with the government, or maybe you're someone who just wants projects to get done, we can work with that. And so we specialize in staff augmentation, economic development consulting, and even public infrastructure financing solutions. So if you have any questions, feel free to scan the QR code or find Ryan at the front and ask him all the questions to get a consultation for what Sunstone Cities can do for you. Now, without further ado, I am thrilled to be able to announce Brian Coleman. Brian, to the stage, please.
All right. Well, thank you. And thank you so much to the Sunstone team for giving me the opportunity to present for you all today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Brian Coleman. I am the Project Financing Manager at the California Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, or GO-Biz for short. Basically, I've been with GO-Biz for about 4 years now, have held various positions. Started off as a regional coordinator covering the Central Coast when we had the community-based team. Took several promotions, and now I serve as the project financing manager on the READY team, which stands for Regional Economic Development Initiatives. I'll talk a little bit more about my team in my presentation. And apologies for all the acronyms. I'll do my best to reiterate all of them. We like acronyms at the state. All government employees do, apparently. But I'll do my best to make them as simplified as possible. But basically, in my role, my focus is on helping various economic development stakeholders, from local government officials to business leaders, community leaders, nonprofit organizations, academic stakeholders, help them identify public sources of funding and financing to get their projects off the ground. And so my intention today is just to kind of give a general overview of the different programs, agencies that we have available at GO-Biz. A lot of information. I'm going to be moving through it really quickly. This way we can save some time for Q&A and the fireside chat. But a lot of information I'm going to be sharing just to kind of give you guys a high-level overview. And then already spoke with John. Happy to arrange follow-up presentations and maybe invite some of my colleagues in to speak in more deeper dive and speak in more detail about the various programs that we offer. So with that, let's go ahead and begin. All right. So for those who are unfamiliar with GO-Biz, we are a state agency that is focused on supporting job creation, economic development, and business assistance efforts across California. We have various teams of specialists that span a wide range of economic development topic areas. This slide here highlights or provides a snapshot of some of the different types of activities and teams that we have to offer. I'll be providing a high-level general overview of most of these units throughout my presentation. But the unit I'm part of is the READY team, which again stands for Regional Economic Development Initiatives team. We're a relatively new unit that was created to support the California Jobs First initiative, a statewide economic development strategy that our office is implementing, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the slide or in the presentation. These are some additional units and sub-agencies within our office. I won't be focusing too much on these just in the interest of time. I just want to mention we do have a SEB team at GO-Biz that can support stakeholders with identifying zero emission or zero emission technology, zero emission vehicle incentives, and they work to support that industry throughout California. There's a California Film Commission, which many people in Southern California are probably familiar with. They're a sub-agency within our office that is tasked with supporting the television and film production industry. They also administer the film and tax credit, which really a powerful incentive in attracting movie productions and film productions to the state. And then we also have a close working relationship with Visit California, which is the destination marketing organization that promotes travel and tourism throughout the state. And then I'll talk a little bit more about the infrastructure and economic development bank shortly. So the first GO-Biz unit that I want to highlight or focus on is the Business Investment Services team, or CalBiz for short. This is the team at GO-Biz that is responsible for providing support to businesses and companies that are looking to either relocate or expand their operations within California. Their services are completely free and available to businesses and companies of any size and industry sector. So they don't have to be a business that's relocating to the state. It could be an existing business within California that might just need some support to grow and expand their operations and their business. Some of the primary services that the CalBiz team offers are site selection services. They act as a liaison for other state agencies, and this includes identifying programs or providing information about programs from those agencies, as well as connecting with state agency partners. They can provide assistance on identifying financial assistance programs to help businesses grow and expand. And then they also provide incentive navigation support, so basically helping businesses and companies and entrepreneurs identify the myriad of incentives and subsidies available at the state. Alongside the CalBiz team, we also have another sub-agency within our office called the Office of the Small Business Advocate, or CalOSBA for short. I won't go into too much detail on this. I believe Director Tara Lynn Gray spoke at one of the previous sessions and provided an overview of their office and their programs. Unfortunately, Tara's no longer with CalOSBA, so that was a huge loss. But just wanted to note that this service is available for small businesses and entrepreneurs, and basically their mission is to ensure that small business owners and entrepreneurs have the resources and information to grow and thrive. The resource that I wanted to spend the most time focusing on today is a powerful financing tool called the California Infrastructure and Economic Development Bank, or iBank for short. iBank is a sub-agency with GO-Biz, and it acts as the general financing authority for the state of California, so essentially like a public bank. It was established by the state legislature in 1994 with the mission to provide affordable financing for both public infrastructure and private development projects that create high quality jobs and promote a strong economy. They have various powers under their authority. They have broad authority to issue both tax exempt and taxable revenue bonds for various types of public and private projects. They can provide financing to public agencies so that those agencies can leverage additional state and federal funds. And then most recently, they brought in their purview to include financing for green projects that support the state's climate agenda and reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. I'll talk a little bit about that on the next slide. All right, so these are the core programs available through iBank. One of the most valuable financing programs, you'll see the first one, the Infrastructure State Revolving Fund Program, or ISER for short. This is a financing resource that essentially provides affordable, flexible, direct loans to local government stakeholders that are looking to acquire financing to support various infrastructure projects. Pretty much any subdivision of a local government can qualify, so city, county, special districts, water districts. One of the benefits of the program is that they do offer competitive below market rate financing, usually loans that range in the amount between $1 million to $65 million and can basically support any type broad array of public infrastructure and community facility projects. The next program that iBank offers is the Climate Financing Program, kind of similar to the Infrastructure State Revolving Fund. The Climate Financing Program provides direct loans, but also loan guarantees and other loan products for projects that advance California's clean energy agenda and also contributes to the state's greenhouse gas reduction goals. There's also a bond financing program, and basically iBank acts as a conduit bond issuer, so they provide both tax exempt and taxable bonds to support both nonprofit and public sector partners, and in some cases manufacturers as well. They do have industrial development bonds for manufacturers that are looking to expand or grow their manufacturing facilities. And then finally, there's the Small Business Finance Center. Basically, the Small Business Finance Center, they work with community development or financial development corporations, offering loan guarantee programs to support small businesses. And then most recently, they set up a venture capital program too, to provide venture capital support to investment funds, fund managers, and businesses who have historically faced challenges in raising equity capital. All right, so real briefly, I want to highlight one of the most ambitious plans available available at GO-Biz, and that's the California Jobs First initiative. Essentially, this is a program initiative that was launched about 3 years ago to promote a community-led, climate-forward economy across California. It's basically a statewide economic development strategy initiative to create high-quality jobs and promote industry sectors that are competitive and have high potential for growth. So this is kind of a timeline of the California Jobs First process. It was initially launched in September 2021, passed by legislation and signed into law by the governor. And it launched a 2-year planning process in the fall of 2022 where The state provided $65 million, $5 million each to 13 geographic regions across the state, with the goal of setting up economic development planning tables that brought together stakeholders and constituents from various backgrounds to essentially create economic roadmaps to map out their future economic development goals. This process culminated last year when each of the 13 regions submitted their regional plans to the state, and then the state took that information, compiled it, and created a statewide economic development strategy, the State Economic Blueprint, which actually is the first statewide economic development strategy that the state of California has developed in 20 years. As a result of the development of the economic blueprint, the state identified several key strategic industry sectors that we want to prioritize for growth and investment over the next several years. Unfortunately, I don't have a slide showing the map of all the industry sectors, but they're sectors that the state are looking to accelerate and expand and essentially use a whole all of government approach to support their growth and expansion. If you guys are interested in learning more about this initiative, there's a link right there. You can go to www.jobsfirst.state.gov. There's a copy of the California State Economic Blueprint, as well as all the regional plans and a list of the industry sectors that we're looking to prioritize. All right, so with the few minutes I have left, I just want to highlight a few useful resources and tools that can help with business development, economic development efforts. The first one, our office has a regional data tool that is free to use for business economic development stakeholders. Essentially has a wide array of data and an interactive map that shows a lot of useful data indicators for cities, counties, regions across the state. To access the data tool, you would just you can go to our website under the resources tab, and under infrastructure development, the tool is located there. Most recently, we actually added another feature to this tool, a business ready site property search tool. Basically, the purpose of this feature is to highlight shovel ready business development location sites that are prime for growth and development in communities across the state. And the goal is to highlight at least two sites in each county throughout California. So that was just recently launched, and we're really excited about that feature. Also want to mention the California Grants Portal. This is a platform that was developed by the California State Libraries. This California State Library is essentially a central repository of all the grant and funding programs available at the state. Really valuable tool in identifying any type of loan, grant, funding, or financing programs. One of the cool features about this is that you can filter by type of economic or business development activity, agency, and actually sign up to have email notices sent when a grant program or funding opportunity becomes active for like a particular economic activity that you're looking for. And then finally wanted to highlight another valuable resource, the California Business Investment Resources Guide. This is a guidebook that our office put together that basically lists all the funding, financing programs available, both at the state and at the federal level, to support broad business and economic development. Free resource to use, and what's great about this too, there's hyperlinks to like the agencies and incentive programs and main point of contacts for the different funding resources. All right, so if you want to learn more about our office, that's the email or the website for our. That's the address for our website, and my contact information is listed there. If you are interested in getting connected with any of the resources or units or programs available at our office, I'm happy to make those connections.
All right, thank you so much, Brian. So, on to the next section of our panel. Now that you've heard a little bit more about GO-Biz and how it can help you, we will move on to our fireside chat between Brian, obviously from GO-Biz, and John Keisler, who spent over 20 years in the public sector, now works in the private sector, and is therefore the perfect candidate to discuss with Brian how P3 can help you, our community. Let's welcome John to the stage.
Thank you, Jennifer, and of course, thank you, Brian, for coming all the way from San Luis Obispo, my hometown.
I was going to say, any opportunity to drive down to Southern California, I'm going to jump at. And by the way, I really like those shoes. By the way, I just noticed that representing California well.
That's right. Those are the custom Vans. Vans is a local small business. Costa Mesa is their headquarters, and of course, we always want to celebrate our local small businesses, our California businesses, and we always want to celebrate California because. One of the reasons that California is such an incredible economic engine, not just for this country, but every month, either fourth or fifth, the largest economy in the world as a nation, is because of GO-Biz, is because of the work that the state does actively across all 13 regions of the state to work with both public and private sectors, education sectors, nonprofit, I include that in private sector, but when should they reach out? California is so big. It's so intimidating at times. It's like a nation. Sacramento feels far away from, say, a small business who wants to build a manufacturing facility in Irvine here. But when should they reach out to you or your team at GO-Biz? Is it too early? Should they have cash flow? Should they be ready with all their financing? Talk a little bit about what the right time is and how to reach out to GO-Biz.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question, one that we get asked a lot by both business and economic development professionals. So, simple answer is reach out to us anytime, as early as possible. If you're a business that is looking to grow and expand, you may not have a formal business plan in place yet. I would say encourage to connect with our team. We have representatives of business development specialists that cover all the regions throughout California. They're always available to connect and meet with, again, business owners of any size in any industry sector. And then, if you're a community or a local government official, I would encourage to reach out to our team to build those relationships and partnerships with our staff. Even if you're a community that doesn't have a particular project that you're looking to pursue at the moment, being familiar with the services, the incentive programs, the funding opportunities available at the state, I think is really beneficial and helpful at supporting the long-term economic prosperity of communities. So we're always available to connect with various external partners, both on the business and economic development side and even the community development side. And I always, inform my external partners, I'm one of the most approachable people. A lot of our staff are very approachable. Whether you want to shoot us a text, call, reach out to us by email, you can connect with us through our website. We're always available to offer support. Ultimately, our team, we want to ensure business owners, economic development professionals have the resources and information they need to be successful and grow and thrive in the state.
Well, I'm a small town guy from San Luis Obispo. You're a small town guy from Lodi.
Yeah.
Different parts of the state, but one of the things we try to do here is why we love in-person events and then to film these and post them is to show that there's people who are the state of California, people who grew up here, who love our communities, who love small businesses, who parents and families operate small businesses. So these are real people. These programs are real. Let's talk about some projects, some actual projects. Now, I read on the iBank website that since 1994, I think, very visionary, our California legislature established the Infrastructure Bank for Economic Development, and over 50 billion so far, 50 billion and counting, the value of these projects that have been built, induced, or direct loans, loan participation. Can you just give us 2 or 3 concrete examples of projects that make you proud and excited that the iBank or GO-Biz has participated in?
Yeah, God, it's hard to actually.
Starting with the San Luis Obispo Airport, of course, because that's something near and dear to my heart.
Yes, yeah. So the San Luis Obispo Regional Airport was looking for long-term affordable funding to do some refurbishment and expansion of their terminal, and it was because of the iBank's Infrastructure State Revolving Fund that they were able to move the project forward and essentially maintain the long-term financial health of their airport district. I mean, there's so many examples available throughout the state that iBank has supported. One in particular, a favorite of mine, because I actually have attended the place in person. I've gone to the place in person. Right up here in the road here in LA, the Peterson Automotive Center.
Super cool.
Yeah, super cool facility. A lot of great exhibits. About 10 years ago, they were looking for affordable financing to do some refurbishment, revitalization of their museum, add some additional exhibits. And again, they were struggling to identify affordable funding resources, and the iBank bond unit, their nonprofit organization as well. And so the iBank bond unit, through their 501c3 program, was able to provide a $20 million tax-exempt bond over a 30-year period. And as a result of that, the project was able to move forward, and the facility is still extremely successful today.
If you haven't seen the Porsche, history of the Porsche at the league, it's amazing. And to know that a nonprofit got bond financing to then create this cultural and visitor serving. What about the capital stack then? GO-Biz does a lot to, building these projects. You have to sometimes find a couple different, 3, 4, even 5 different kinds of capital, early stage or refinancing and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about maybe how GO-Biz helps project owners, maybe not to fund the whole thing, but maybe a piece that finally seals the deal on a project.
Yeah, well, I think GO-Biz and other state resources can play a significant, important part in a capital stack for a project. Even outside of infrastructure and large-scale regional economic development projects, even on the business side, there's numerous examples where our business development team has supported the growth and success of industry clusters and particular companies throughout the state. Obviously, Space Beach here in Long Beach is a prime example where I know you, John, you were so instrumental in supporting the establishment and attracting some of those space companies to the region. But GO-Biz played a very important part in that through offering tax credits, and as a result of that, they were able to, Long Beach was able to attract Rocket Lab, one of the premier space launch companies in the state. I believe the Cal Capiz tax credit also supported relatively space as well. Huge. And even outside of our office, we have close relationships with partnering programs, workforce development programs, employment training panel.
Huge.
It's instrumental in providing reimbursement for training programs to upskill workers into high-skilled positions, high-paying jobs. And so all these incentives combined, both on the business development side and the regional side, can play a huge role in the capital stack to just, provide that last little bit of gap financing to get a project over the finish line.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we overlook, we think of, a rocket lab moving their international headquarters to Long Beach, building out their command center. We now have 4 command centers in Long Beach that didn't exist. They're actively monitoring activities in space, but it was GO-Biz, Kaina, Perea, Trayland, of course, that I would call and say, it's not just the real estate costs, it's the energy costs, it's the power. These are the biggest 3D printers in the world. You need really affordable electricity and power.
The EDR program, Economic Development Rate, which is administered by the publicly owned utilities in California, but our office is involved in certifying companies to receive the economic development rate to provide an affordable reduction in their in a company's electric costs.
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes, we think of the capital stack as just being the cost to build something or the cost of the land or maybe even the lease rate. But when you start to deduct a lower rate on electricity for an advanced manufacturing producer, it can change the game. The employment training panel money can pay for half of their salaries for the first 6 months. That can change your pro forma significantly. All of a sudden, California becomes the lowest cost option with the greatest value of any other place you could go in the country, notwithstanding getting 1,200 engineers graduated each year out of Cal State Long Beach for Rocket Lab Relativity that is powering their most expensive asset, which is their talent. So workforce is something that we just love at Sunstone Cities. It's usually the most expensive cost, and people don't know that there's tremendous amount of money and incentives available through GO-Biz and the state. So we're going to switch to some Q&A from the crowd a little bit, because I know there's business owners in here, there's economic development directors and people who want to do things to really enrich their community. I'm going to turn to the audience. Is there somebody who wants to ask a question of Brian that you have burning right now, either in your business or that you're thinking about? We have a catch box. Jennifer's got it. That is a microphone, so you can talk into it. But does anybody want to ask a question, or I'm going to ask another one? Yes, sir.
I gotta catch it.
Want to catch it?
Here comes the throw, man.
Oh, that's
There it is.
So if own a company, where do I actually start with you and your organization? I'm looking for a new space. We need to expand. How does that conversation just even start? Because again, I think there's a flood of resources.
Yes.
But again, what path do you take?
That's a very good question, one that we get asked a lot. Part of our primary role at GO-Biz is to kind of connect the dots at the state. Obviously, there's a lot of agencies, a lot of programs that provide various types of business support and incentives. As a business owner, I would definitely encourage you to connect with our business development team, the CalBiz team. You can actually reach out to me. I can put you in touch with them. And that would be a good start. We have a business development rep that covers the Los Angeles, Orange County area, Dustin McDonald. I'm thinking about getting him to present at a future session, do a little deeper dive into the business development programs. But that would be my start, or that would be my suggestion is connect with us, and we can offer support in navigating the myriad of incentives and programs, and even like some of the other units. We have a permits team that can help support with navigating the regulation landscape in California and at the local level. Identify what kind of licenses, certifications you need to grow and expand or to secure a site. And we do offer site selection support too through the business development team. So connecting with us, I think, is the first step.
It really is remarkable too. At one point when we were building out with the aerospace cluster in Long Beach. I just had them on, Kaina and Trey on my cell phone. I just text them and say, I'm sitting here with these guys. I don't know what they're talking about. It's a permitting issue. It's managed by the state. They would immediately call and in the room on speaker go, nope, that's a federal DOD issue. It's aerospace. But we know the guy and we'll give them a call.
Yeah.
Or we know the woman who manages that program. And that's the kind of like white glove service that GO-Biz provides that it gets the deal done. Gets that project moving. Answers a question that you would pay lawyers tens of thousands of dollars for, or real estate brokers. They're doing the site selection confidentially and pro bono because they want to locate these companies in California. So you can always also talk to Ryan Fong or Giselle on the Sunstone Cities team, and they'll make the referral to the right group at the state for you. These are free resources. So our job is to make those connections for the community. Yes, sir. We've got another question over here.
You gotta catch it. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Here it comes. Everybody saw the
Beautiful.
shadow go by like Anchorman. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. Great talk. So there's a school of thought out there that California isn't necessarily the most business-friendly state or cost-effective state. And
We hear that all the time.
And I'm personally not a believer in that, but it's real. And there are a lot of people that just have this impression. And you hear about, jobs or companies going to Texas or other states like that. I mean, how do you address that concern? And how do you educate people that that's not the case?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. There was actually one economic development leader for a community in my area in Santa Barbara County who used to highlight all the time that the cost to do business or to start a business in California is about 6 to 7 times higher than other states, and so it's definitely an issue that we recognize. Obviously, we hear there's a lot of large issues that kind of beyond our control. That the cost of housing is obviously a limiting factor for companies to move here because if they don't have affordable workforce housing for their employees, they're not going to want to locate or expand their operations here. What we always like to convey to our external partners in the business and economic development landscape is that this is still a competitive state to do business in. We still have, California receives like the largest amount of venture capital in the world. We still have a lot of valuable assets in terms of educated workforce.
The biggest.
Yeah. Premier universities, the innovation ecosystem, and so we always like to highlight those strengths when connecting with businesses and economic development leaders, and really, something that I always like to convey is that our office is trying to work on finding solutions to help these businesses overcome some of the regulatory challenges, cost of living challenges here in the state, and so, with the California Jobs First initiative and this prioritization of supporting and prioritizing investment in key strategic sectors, we want to show the world that California, the state government of here in California, we have a vested interest in supporting and ensuring the success of these industry sectors and all businesses throughout California. So, just kind of through these initiatives, we are demonstrating that we are committed in supporting a competitive and successful business climate.
Yeah, and to build on that, the governor was to demonstrate how committed. The governor 2 days ago was at the California Forward Economic Summit in Stockton, doing it in an economic region that I'd never visited. I never stayed the night in Stockton. It was incredible. But the governor came on stage and talked to us and talked about how this is the most important thing. Jobs first, high-paying, good jobs, affordability, and lowering the cost for things like housing. Of course, an economic development director from Santa Barbara, it would be 6 to 7 times higher just because of the cost of land. right? These are some of the most expensive and attractive places in the world. But one of the arguments that I think gets overlooked all the time is around workforce. And the governor was talking about, we got 10 UCs. A couple of those UCs are number 1 and number 2 public universities in the world. In the world, 10 UCs publicly funded. Number 2, 22 Cal State universities. Some of those, the best in the country by far for specific sectors, some of them number
private
1.
universities as well.
And 115 community college campus districts with more actual facilities and satellite campuses. Total 3 million public college higher learning students right now enrolled in California public higher learning, all focused on these key sectors and paid for, not by the private employers. Again, they get that workforce essentially for free, which is why Elon Musk built all of his companies here. But also, I think that gets overlooked is the fact that when you have that pipeline of talent around a key sector or industry, we don't all want to build everything in Santa Barbara. If you want to do ag tech or energy or pharmaceutical or bioscience, go to San Diego. For medical devices, come to UC Irvine or East Orange County. We all have very specific industry strengths that nowhere else in the world has. And the governor said, if you look at every industry, major industry category across the country, we lead in every single one of them in total number of jobs and economic output, including agriculture and manufacturing. California's number 1 in both those nationwide.
And I'll add to that, the state is playing a very proactive role in ensuring that jobs, high quality, high paying jobs in these industry sectors are broadly accessible to all California residents, citizens who may not have the level of education typically to get a high paying job in one of these high growth sectors. And right now what we're seeing and starting to roll out is a number of partnerships between community colleges, higher education institutions, 4-year institutions, and local employers in developing career training, technical training programs to facilitate employment in these high-paying careers. And so the state has been playing a tremendous role in that, providing financial support to these programs and facilitating disadvantaged populations into accessing these programs so that they can pursue high-paying, competitive careers.
Yeah, so the kids from San Luis Obispo, Central Coast, Lodi, Central Valley can get great high-paying jobs and move the country or the state forward. So perfect P3, industry, government, education. P3 is the way that powers the greatest economy on the planet for its size and its number of residents. That's California. So thank you, Brian. I hear the crowd showing up for our next event and panel this afternoon. Please, I'm going to turn this over to Jennifer. She knows how to close this out. But could you all give a round of applause to Brian Coleman?